Okay, let's gonna continue. Let's do some examples. Let's see. What happens if you start the day and one manager just walk into your office and he asks, me right here for the lab. I'm gonna call example one. Uh, how much money did we make every year? Okay, how much money did we make every year? Right? So you immediately uh, which table store revenue? Right? Which table store revenue? Right, good. The tables are there. Okay. Which table store revenue? Fact, internal sales, right? Correct? We have sales amount, right? Perfect. So let's go and see which table uh store revenue. Fact, internet sales, right? Perfect. You identify the table. Okay. Uh, let me think. How much money did we make every year? How much money? Fact, fact, internet sale. Uh, okay. Which table store revenue for the money? But they ask for a year, right? Uh, uh, every year, right? So let me ask you the question. Which table knows the year? Which table knows the year? We were discussing that, right? What do you have in dim table, in dim date? Dim date are gonna provide, they're gonna provide a calendar day. See everything. See Spanish, French, number of week. I already have that information. English month, January, Spanish month, enero, Right? Okay. Let me go to the car. Okay. How much money did we make every year? Money. Fact, fact, internet sales. Every year. Now you know that we can use the date. Perfect. Now that you know the tables, right? Now, write the query. Okay. So you know that you need a user. That's right. This is internet sales, right? See the columns, right? We have the order date key, right? Order date key. See all the columns that we have. And this is date key from dim date, right? We have date key, right? Let me show you here. I like to use that, you know that, right? Let me see. Excellent. See why SP help is really useful? You notice that? See the foreign key, dim date, order date key. Perfect. So order date key, reference, dim date, right? Perfect. So you know that dim date. Let me see if I can expand more. Yeah. See that reference has been toward dim date key. Okay. Here we go. Right. So the table fact, we can join the table fact internet sale, right? Join with dim date, and we can use the order date key equal date key, right? Right? We can use that. So let's gonna do it. Let's gonna select. Uh, Let me put here the table that we're gonna use. Correct. We're gonna use this one. We're gonna do an inner join. Huh. I guess it autocomplete for me, right? Dim date, the table. Okay. D. I like to just F, lowercase, right? Inner join, dim date on order date key equal D date key. Perfect. Hey, okay. So I gonna use the fact internet sale with the dim date table, right? On order date key equal date key. Because we analyze the SP health and we know the relationship, right? Perfect. Now, which column do we need to select? We can select the calendar year for sure. So we're gonna use the calendar year. And now the revenue. For the revenue, you have sales amount, right? But let's gonna sum, right? Sale amount as total revenue, right? Correct. Now we can do the group by calendar year, and we can do an order by, right? So which one the step one? Let me put the query here. Okay. So I can write here what we did. Step one, right? Uh, you know that fact table. Let me put the name, okay? Add internet sales, provide sales amount, right? This is what we identify first. Step 2, right? Recording. Right, hold on a second. Let me see how you're recording. Yeah, I record. But step 2, we know that dim date, right? Provide calendar year, right? And this is why we do that now. The step 3, we have the group by, right? What is the purpose for the group by here? Separate, right? Sales, right? Into yearly bucket, right? Correct? Per year, because the manager asked, make how much money did we make every year? Okay? Let's gonna use the group by to separate sales into yearly buckets, right? So for the sum, calculate the revenue, right? For each year. Beautiful, right? Okay. Have the explanation there. So let's gonna run. Taking a little bit, right? Beautiful. See the total revenue for each year now. It answer your manager question, right? So question for you. Without date dimension, could we group by year? Technically, yes, right? But what is the benefit of the warehouse here? The warehouse already have the information prepared. This is the benefit, right? The calendar year, dim date, right? Visualize the table calendar again. See the data. That's at some time. Okay, here. The table, we got calendar year, right? See here, calendar year was already prepared for us. So we don't have the date like 2025, then dash the month, then dash the date, and then you will have to extract, convert with the function year, many things. No, you already have that data here. The column calendar year already have the data that you need, the year. This is what I told you. The data will have already have the information prepared for you. In this query, you just call the calendar year directly, right? And this table have but you see the different year, right? Correct? When you distinct and see the calendar year. So this table have the data ready to use the calendar year, right? See, just for 10,000 sheets here, the 1,000 rows here also have calendar semester, physical quarter, physical year, physical semester, monthly of year. So whatever you need, you can just directly hear it from this table instead of to compute extra operation, right? Remember that date function that we learned some weeks ago? So we are not, see the query here. We directly are using the calendar year, right? And we are able to compute the group by really easy, right? Join those tables. So remember, we, without the dimension, you could group by year for sure, but the warehouse already have the information prepared. This is the benefit for the warehouse because you will have to do the preparation many, for many rows, right? It's gonna take, it's gonna consume resources. Now with the warehouse, you already have this data ready to use. See how beautiful is the report? The data was ready to use. So again, the ETL process work at night. It could be a full load at the beginning that transform the data, right? And you have the data in that doesn't have in the OLTP, right? You don't have calendar year, but in the warehouse you have that, right? This is the benefit of a warehouse. Okay. Uh, let's gonna do another example. Okay. Example two. So this one should be uh, what about revenue by year, right? Okay. Example two. Uh, we can continue working with revenue. Mm, what was the format? Oh, the manager asked, right? Okay. What should be the business need now? Uh, maybe now. Marketing department. Okay, marketing department ask. Want to know about product category? Okay. Which product, right? Which product category make the most money? Huh? Real question, right? Which product category make the most money? Okay, so in this example, we can write here revenue by product category. Product category. Perfect. Beautiful. Right? Okay. So again, we identify the table, right? Okay. So now you can ask, hmm, right? We have the same. You can say you want to improve for this question. Which products, which table? Yeah, that's revenue, right? It's in fact internet sales, right? Perfect. Um, Now they tell us revenue not by date, is by what? By product, right? Okay, so much easier, right? Oh, the question is which table knows product names, right? And you know immediately the product, right? Correct? The product. So let's gonna run products to get some data. How we can visualize the data there. Hmm. We have the table products here. Wait a minute. What happened here? Model. Okay. Okay. This is the product information, right? But it looked like this dimension have their own dimension, right? Because dim product doesn't have information about the category, right? Category, right? We see, oh, product category. Excellent. If you want to see the data, start thinking that this dimension have their own dimension, right? So product category key. Okay. Mhm. Let's go take a look now. Product category. Product subcategory. See the columns. Let's go and run to see some data because we have only product category key is running. Subcategory is the data, I guess, that we need. So we can have that category and we can have category, right? Let me see. Mhm. We can have, okay, product subcategory. Okay, we can have here, I guess what I can do is that use the Dean product, right? And join with the subcategory, right? Using the product subcategory because for sure we're gonna have the set. If you don't wanna use the SP help, right? You can go to maybe keys. But visual codes take longer to retrieve the metadata. This is why I like to use the SP help function to retrieve the metadata faster than the graphical interface that's see, you know, take longer, right? But anyway, we can know how to use both. In SQL Server Management Studio, the metadata retrieve faster. This is why I like to use SQL Server Management Studio. Come on, I just want to retrieve. Oh my. Really? Wow. The health should be much better, right? Yeah, but sometimes you wanna just see the key constraints so you can use the graphics. This is why you have the graphical interface, right? But look at this. I'm gonna see that finish. Okay, I guess it's not gonna work using the graphical interface, right? Okay. Anyway, so this is a subcategory. Let me do something so you can understand. I know, means you got it immediately. Know your experience, but let me draw something on the whiteboard because we're gonna look like we're gonna do three joints. What is that? Hold on, I try to picture the. I don't find my pointer. That's nip. Product. So what I was thinking is we know the uh, internal sales, right? So with the products we can use con esto. No, columns. No, key is still working. Let me. How can I cancel that? I guess we can. Okay, let's not try to analyze without that. So just SP help, right? SP help. Let's gonna use first Run. Doesn't want to run because it's stuck. Try to retrieve that metadata. Maybe am I running direct? Okay. SQL Server Management Studio. Help me, rescue me. It looks like something is stuck. So let me go to SQL Server Management Studio. The, the metadata to try to retrieve that is making everything slow. It want to stop the SQL Server. See that when I try to run, it said SQL is already running for this session. So this guy, I guess, is still running. So let me, if I close this Windows, maybe close this one. See what you can do with SQL Server Management Studio. Uh, right click on the host, local host, activity monitor, and you can see, I'm gonna teach you at the end of the semester, this one. But now that they have a problem, you can see, for example, processes, look like it's gone. You're gonna see here the processes that are running, wait, IO, recent activities, and you can select here the database, start collecting information. See that? Let me see if that open in case I need it. Let me let me close the other one. We create a new query here. Okay. Don't think it's wrong with my connection. I guess so. Maybe the database. You know what I do? I'm gonna do something here. Okay, see that now I collecting information. So you can filter here the database that you wanna see. I wanna see data warehouse. Perfect. And you're gonna see the application that is connecting to the database. Visual Studio Codes. Got it? The user who login. So you can detect and you want right click kill process when something is stuck. This is really useful tool because sometimes you know identify the user that was connecting and causing problems, and you can just right click and kill process. But you have to be careful and know what you're gonna kill, right? No. So when something is like this happen, when everything is stacked, you can restart your server because it's a SQL server, Management Studio, or it's a SQL server. Uh, Sometimes restart work, or let me see if I can show you here. See that everything is slow now, right? The warehouse mess my environment. Something was sticky there. I don't cut that, but did you see at the bottom right, you see connecting, 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 right? To my local host. So something is wrong with my PC or SQL Server. So the to retrieve the metadata is really slow. Something the Visual Code consume a lot of resources on my PC, and now I have problems. I'm not able to do anything here. So I'm taking advantage of that to show you what we can do. Okay, right click on the database, take offline. Let me like shut down the database. Drop all active session maybe set. Let me see. Connection. I connecting to this database. Okay. So now let's gonna put the database off, like shut down database off. You are not restarting your server, but you are stopping the database because something is stuck. Just taking advantage of this video to show you how to do that. Okay. The database is down now. See here? Offline. Let me put it back. Bring online. Bringing database online successful. Perfect. Right? Let me use here. Maybe we need to reconnect. New query. Something is weird with Visual Code. Let me see if with SQL Server Management Studio I have the same problem. See that connecting taking longer. Okay. Last resource. SQL Server configuration. Here, you're gonna see which one is my server because I have many configuration here. I have many instances. Let me try this one. Stop. You're not gonna see this one. So now I stopping all the product of SQL Server. So now all the databases connecting to my PC are gonna be down. Let me also stop because I have many instances running. I have different installation. So I don't remember which one is what we are using in this class. So I stopping everything. Also, remember that we start the agent the last time when we after the midterm. Yeah, let me stop the agent for the schedule a job and let me close Visual Code. Let me close everything. That I want to stop the agent. Anyway. Okay, if you want to connect to the database, now you're going to get an error because the services are down. Hmm. Let me now try to start up. Okay, and maybe this one as well. SQL Server is up. I have two servers because I have this class, another class, but I don't remember which instance is our installation. This is why I have two. You must see only one. Let me see now. See that? Appear the connection, right? Now, which one? Now connect. Perfect. Huh. Okay, much better now, right? Look at this. Faster, right? So what I did is restart the database that didn't work and then restart the complete services because something was sticky when I tried to retrieve the metadata with the graphical interface in Visual Code. So, wow, horrible. Okay, so let's gonna go back to the example. Revenue by product category. Okay, but okay, we know the revenue are in the table, right? In the fact table, internet sales, right? We have amount, sales amount here. Perfect. We already know that. But we know that there is a table, uh, product, right? Right? We can use here. You need, inside the table product, you have product key, right? That have in internet save, right? So this is why to visualize much better, I like to use the pickle, run the table, and I'm gonna know here the relationship, right? Of all the tables, right? Now I have to join with product, right? Right? So we have mm, some foreign key, one foreign key here related to the product, right? I'm not able to see what is the complete reference, but it said, right, product key. Okay, so you know that you can join back internet table with the product using the product key, right? Perfect, right? Okay, but what is in the product? Indeed, you need the category name, right? And here in the table product, when you run the data, here, I guess you don't see the name, right? I guess you have English name. Don't remember exactly. It's gonna run to visualize the data. But see here, you have English product name. Let's gonna see. Or maybe Spanish product name, right? So join the uh, fact internet sales within products, right? Okay, it's here. We have English product name, right? But they ask you by category, right? Okay, you see, you have the English product name. You see, but you need the category name, right? What is the category for that, right? You have to go deeper. Where is the SP? Perfect. It's gonna continue here. SP held now the product. Okay, we have foreign key, the product subcategory. Okay, product subcategory. Perfect. So in product subcategory key, product subcategory key. See here, have the same category. The other one have the same category. The other one have the same category. Okay, now we have the product subcategory key, but we still don't have the category name, right? Okay. Being product subcategory. In subcategory, remember, in subcategory, we have the relationship reference product category key. Perfect. Okay, let's gonna see what we have in product subcategory. Just visualize the data. So we have the fact internet sales table. We know the table product, but product doesn't tell us anything, right? We need to take the subcategory, but in the subcategory, we don't have the category name. So I guess the category name is gonna be in the product category. English product by category name. Bingo. Got it? That is perfect. And this is the product category key. Woohoo! We got it. This here? Okay, this is what we need. But we need dim product subcategory, and finally use the dim product category. This is the join that we're gonna use. Perfect. Right? So when we run that, this is what we copy, right? Right? Now it's clear. Product category, right? Dim product category. So you need to join this one. Done. Done. Let's go to do the join here. Okay. So now you need, right? Uh, internet sales. Perfect. Right? Let's gonna call F, and let's gonna use the inner join. It was in products. Yeah, that's correct. Owned from the fact internet sales, the product key, right? Perfect. Now we have just the join of the fact internet sale, right? With that, that's it. But now we need the product doesn't tell us the category, remember? So we need to do another inner join, right? Let me see. another inner join, right? That is gonna be perfect in product category, okay? And we're gonna use the key that we have right in the dim product, that is the product subcategory key, with the key that is in the subcategory. Perfect. You are joining that now. And then the last inner join, right? The last inner join is, remember our that we did before? We need now the dim product category. Perfect. When we have the names, right? The name of the categories. It's called PC, okay, product category. And we need to join with the product category key. Perfect. Which tables? The product category, when you have the name of the category with the dim product subcategory. Perfect. We got the join here. Now, which data you wanna select, right? We need the English product category, right? Uh, what's up there? So you need English product category name, right? And we need the fact internet sales, right? Yeah, I'm revenue. Okay, we're gonna pass information, but we can group by, correct? We can group by English product category name. Also, you can do an order by. Gonna run. Beautiful. Wow, that is really nice. Got it? This is a beautiful example of what we can do here. You can do revenue by customer. Now that you have a revenue by sales territory, you know. So with this example, you can do whatever you want. Well, so I hope you enjoy this lab. We have to think a lot to perform the join, but this is why I recommend the student to use the SP help, right, to visualize everything much better, faster. You immediately start tracking the foreign key. Okay, I know what I have to join. And yeah, see byte, the top, right? This is uh, the report that managers love, right? Marketing department love. So they are contact us to visualize that. But behind this beautiful report is this beautiful query, right? You have to know your data. I start learning this data now. It's a new database, but see how you have to track. SP Help is going to be your best friend to see how to get the information. Okay? So I hope this lecture helped you. This is a can continue learning more about data warehouse concept, but this is a good fundamental, so you can continue. Okay? So thank you. We're gonna stop recording now.